Hello! All! It is Billy Cultist! We're back in the jungle! And, of course, the jungle's not completely finished, because I think what I said last time in the last session was that the jungle requires an artisan, or a character. I don't know why I said an artisan. That's somebody that crafts things, but I guess he could be an artisan. But we're just gonna make, like I said in the last one, I think that I've pretty much got this jungle in terms of environmental details and everything, pretty much like I want it to be. But we basically, you know, visually, it isn't a place that I like it. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't do anything more to it. I'm sure there's a lot that maybe you, even as you're looking at it right now, as we're looking at it, we can walk around it here for a second. So, you know, as we're looking, I'm sure maybe you in your mind are thinking, "Oh, Billy, but you could add this and that and this and that and this and that, Billy." And it's like, yeah, I know. There's just an endless. When you make these things, you'll find yourself imagining a ton of things you could add, and that's true. At some point, though, you will have to draw your line because there is only so much you can add at the end of the day, and you know, there's a limit. There's just a place where you're gonna have to say, you know what, it's enough. I'm good with it. I like the way it looks, and that's where I'm at right now with this. Now, that's, of course, like I said, not to say that we couldn't add more different little details, or, you know, like I said, you probably have something in your mind that could be added. But I think I've reached a point where I'm satisfied. If you are building a scene, you know, it's up to you to go further, you know, or maybe not even go as far as I have. You bring it to your own level of detail that you think you want it to be at. Your own level of satisfaction. Not everybody's got that same level. Like this, for me, this is good. For you, this may not be quite enough, or maybe it's too much. But as the case may be, I think I've done a good job here. There's one more little thing I might add that I think I want to add, which would be a good, let's get out of this for a second. A good thing, something atmospheric, and I'm gonna give a shot at adding like little flying insects, maybe. I don't know if that'll actually work. It might actually detract, but we'll try that real quick here. Just because. I think I'll go with white, of course. Paint. Draw flex. What we gotta do here is we gotta try and... I'm putting it on pencil because this is a good... Actually, wait, maybe pencil wouldn't be a good one. We want a nice, steady size on these. Anyway, what we're gonna do, though, here is we're gonna do some little tiny, like, swirly things. See how we can... put them in kind of a little cloud here. A few that are like really short. Maybe a few that are... Anyway, you want to make sure... I would definitely make sure that your thing is turned off for this part. What do I mean by my thing? I mean, turn off... What do you call it? Snap to surface, because that'll really wreck you if you're trying to do something like this. But anyway, there's some kind of sloppy work on that. I don't think we need super intense work. We got those. Now what we want to do with these, we're kind of following the same dynamic you would use to make rain. I'm going to size it down just a bit so they're nice and little compared to our guy, I guess. But we're going to kind of use the same dynamic you would use to make rain. And what you do roughly is... And here in the animation, I'm going to turn the speed up. We got... Press play. See, we can see... Yeah, now the trails move. They're going to need to move quite fast, because these little bugs humming through the air. And we want to put on pulse. Okay, you see? And probably turn the trail way down, because... We'll turn it up just by 1. There we go. See? Kind of looks like a little... You can see it. Little fly. Or something. You can just barely make it out. But they're kind of buzzing around there. I might turn this up just once. There we go. have the trail by 2%. That's about enough. Because they get more visual clarity on those. 3. I'll go with 2. That looks kind of like a little buzzing flies. But that's... See, that's kind of what we want. Something like that. And it's on loop. It's all good. Actually, I thought I was going to have to mess with this around, but it looks nice and random. But here's the thing what we're going to do. Seems like a decent speed. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to this clone part. And see this positional duplicates? You would do this with rain as well. We're going to go with around the camera. Okay. Okay, there's some. I see them over there. We might want way more copies. Turn up the copies. This could have performance altering, you know, effects, so be careful, I guess. I can see them now. I don't know about this scale jitter thing. I'm still not entirely sure what that does with the copies, but you can mess with all these settings to your liking, depending on what you're doing, but we're just doing these bugs. Yeah, I can see them now. But this will put them all around, it'll put like duplicates all around the camera in the scene, and they'll kind of be with the camera wherever you go. So that you get the, you know, you don't have to duplicate that painting out all over the scene. It'll just look like it's everywhere anyway. And you can kind of see the bugs flying around. Let's give it a try here. Give it a whirl. Get inside and... Well... Do you see any of them? Here's the thing, I can't even see. Let's get back out. Rewind time. Do you see any of them? Oh, I see a few. I think. I see a few of them. Here and there. But I don't know if they're showing up quite as much as what I'd want. I want a little more. So yeah, we gotta go find... This is the problem. Maybe I shouldn't have done this, but we gotta find them so we can mess with their settings. Maybe if we put up a little glow on them? No, I don't know about that. I think if we bump up this just a little more. Yeah, get the trail up a little more there. Now, okay, now they're a little more visible. I could see them. They're not really in the background so much, are they? Maybe there's a setting we're missing here. Let's take a look. Nope, we don't need to play. Let's go through here in the clone settings and all directions. What about that? Around a cylinder. I don't know about these. Spread. Oh, spread! Okay, that's what it is. I think we gotta turn the spread down, because they look more thick. Yeah, that's kind of more what I was thinking. That's a lot of bugs. But you know, it's a jungle! Spread it out just a little bit, bugs. Okay, there, let's go with that. This should work. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, that's more what I was thinking of. Yeah, we could maybe turn down the trail now that I found out that spread thing, because the trail's a little too trail-like. So let's turn the trail down in animation back to 2. Or even 1. Yeah, now that we got that spread taken care of, I think that... Yeah, there! I think that's more like what I would want. Yeah, that's much better. You have that jungle atmosphere of all the bugs buzzing around. Oh, man. You know, I imagine I would really... I've never been in a jungle, actually, but I don't imagine I would care for it too much. I'm not a big fan of all the buzzing insects, you know, mosquitoes and stuff. Especially mosquitoes, you know, stuff biting you all the time. It's a hard life when you got stuff biting on you all the time. Okay. So now, I'm gonna get in here and I was thinking of some other setting that let's see. Oh yeah, I might impasto this just a bit, make them a little more three-dimensional. I think that's about it though. Let's give it a little test. There, I think that's good. That gives the impression of little flies buzzing to and fro. I was gonna say, now that we're near the end of this jungle, oh, another thing I need to do. We need to add invisible walls. That's one last thing needs to be added before this will be pretty simple though. Let's get out of him. But I was gonna say, we're gonna need to think about what I'm gonna do next, because after I finish this jungle, we ought to make another scene. Now, I had discussed some things, I think, already. I'm not sure how we'll feel about... We could do whatever we want, though. I was thinking, though... Let's see here. I'll put this... We need to get a brick. Because this is how we're going to do our invisible wall. And we'll just put it like that. And the next thing we'll do, reduce the detail, because this thing does not need to be high detail. Don't need it taking up thermal more than it needs to. It's just basically a physical thing. What are we doing? Well, 13... Yeah, okay, this isn't bad. We're good. Okay, so there's our wall. So let's scale it up so it's nice and high so you couldn't jump over it. If you were going to even have a jump in this thing, but either way, make it nice and high, higher than the puppet. And go collidability. Well, scenery. Okay. Collidability. It's collidable. We do want that. We don't want it visible, but I'll leave it. Well, wait a minute. No, I won't leave it visible. We'll want that off. And imp interaction. I don't think we need high physics costs for it to work right. So now it's going to disappear. We're going to go into here because we can't preview invisibility. And when we do that, we're going to get all these bugs are going to show up. So we're going to have to briefly hide these for the time being so we can work in peace. But anyway, we're going to start going around the edges of our... And just kind of cloning these out and linking them up. Just like that. Try to do it as smoothly as possible, too. Because if you got invisible walls, a problem that can crop up with the invisible walls is... It is a good idea, if you possibly can, to try to have them go somehow with the terrain. As you see, I've kind of got a little bit of an edge to the terrain here. Anyway, so that just kind of helps a little bit. But if you're going to do invisible walls, you do kind of want these smooth, as smooth as you could possibly get them. What do you call it? Like this, meet-up points or whatever, intersections. Because that way people don't, they're not walking along the edge of it and then they get weirdly stuck on something and they can't figure out what's going on. Some invisible, like if I had it sticking out like this randomly, like this or something, you see, you don't want to, because they could get stuck in there in that corner and then it's like you're stuck in this invisible corner. You can't figure out how to get out of it or what's going on. Really annoying. But here we got... Yeah, we just have to basically put this all around. This is kind of a tedium. We can talk about what we might do next. I was thinking, though, since now the big thing seems to be this Starfield game has come out. This is the premier space sci-fi game of the age or whatever. Everybody's really... The worship ceremonies have started. There's people have been worshiping, and it's been, They've been worshipping at the altar of Bethesda and Starfield. And now they're giddy with worship. And, not everybody likes it, of course. And I don't have a particular interest in Starfield. However, the iron's hot, and everybody's got this space stuff on their mind. I do like space sci-fi, but I have my own conceptions of how it needs to be done right. That's one of the reasons why I can't get myself really into Starfield. A very unique reason for most people, I think. A lot of people have, this or that kind of problem with it or something, but my main problem with it, if I had to say I have a problem with it, is that I just know how it could be done way better, and I just can't enjoy a game if I'm constantly thinking how much I could do it better while I'm there sitting on it. It just don't work that way for me. That's a very unique problem, though, very me specific. I think most people probably won't suffer from that problem. But in the spirit of this Starfield thing being the new big space thing, which it's not on PlayStation anyway, so that's another reason I probably wouldn't. I don't have an Xbox, nor do I have a PC. So even if I was super excited for it, I don't think I could get too excited. But in the spirit of all that, what could we do? Why? I don't know if this doesn't quite follow that. Let's put that there. We'll follow that a little better. What could we do in the spirit of Starfield? We could, and sci-fi and space, we can maybe I'll make a space sci-fi related scene. We'll make one of those next. I guess technically this jungle could be that, but I mean, you go to jungle planets in the space. Sci-fi, but I don't know. I might do that. I've had a kind of a hankering to make a desert. Which, yeah, that's kind of a space sci-fi staple, is a desert. Maybe a little too much nowadays. I know Star Wars just can't get away from the desert nowadays. Just every other thing is, let's go to Tatooine or Jakku or whatever. It's a desert. It's like, boy. 90% of the Star Wars galaxy now is deserts. So we got this wall. We can kind of test it out, too. I don't know, that might not be good there. Yeah, let's bring that over. Okay. We can kind of give it a test, though. See if it's working quite right. Also, we can probably delete this, in fact. Because now we got our wall. Let's turn on our bugs. Otherwise, they won't be present in the real thing. Turn on that, and let's go for a little test and see how the wall works. Just kind of run along it. Make sure there's no holes in the wall or the fence. So here we are. Yeah, we hit the wall. Okay. That's what we want. Can't get out. You're locked in. By the way, speaking of Starfield, I hear that this is a thing. Well, I mean, not invisible walls per se, I guess, but I suppose a lot of people were expecting from some of the media that came out around it that Starfield was going to be open world exploration, kind of like if you've played No Man's Sky, if you've ever played it or just watched gameplay of it, you can kind of just, like the planets in No Man's Sky, the whole planet is there, and you can physically walk or fly over the whole planet. I think people were, based on some of the media that came out, somehow had formed an idea that this was what Starfield did. And apparently, as far as I can see from my own self, this is not the case of Starfield. They somehow generate like a little map wherever you land on the planet, and there's load screens. And then like what happens is you go and you can walk around. It's not this little. The map's not like this map. That would be, I'm sure people would really be upset. But it's a small, compared to modern standards, it's a small map. It's like you can run around in quite a large area maybe, but you know, I don't know, like a square mile, a couple square miles. It's large, and you're constrained to being on foot. That was an odd thing I heard about Starfield that really sounded weird. You're constrained to being on foot. But so it's, you know, it probably feels reasonably large of a map, but still, it has a boundary that you reach at some point. And you cannot go, seems like we got no holes. You can't really go beyond that boundary point when you go too far. I'm just gonna double check this. Never be too careful here. Sometimes these holes, you really gotta watch out for holes in these things. But anyway, you can, we gotta jump too. Try to break the game. You can go to this boundary point and it basically, you know, it gives you a warning. It's like you're getting too far off the map. You can't go any further. And it tries to create the illusion, apparently, that you can walk over the whole planet by, like, picking up and, you know, taking off in your ship and land somewhere else. And it just procedurally generates this one map tile or whatever that you can run around on. That's like I said, a large one, but not infinite. Not the whole planet. So it's not entirely as open and big as I suppose people suspected from what they heard. I don't even know per se what was said about it by the company. So I don't know how accurate or, you know, how much they might have been lying about it or whatever. But apparently it's a little bit of a letdown to some. And they don't have seamless transition from orbit to surface of the planet, too. That's another thing No Man's Sky had that I guess people, some people at least, were expecting would be a part of Starfield. Now let's get back to that thing about the vehicles, because that is a very strange... I suppose that's some kind of gameplay limitation. And it probably has something to do with the, like I said, the maps being limited in scope. But when your vehicle, when you're in the space and you're in the future and you're also trying to be like apparently they're, I presume, they've said stuff about Starfield where they're like, well, it's supposed to be realistic. You know, you're supposed to believe that it's, you know, this is a real future. I don't think things will be in space or something. It's like, well, I know for a fact they're going to at least have bicycles, probably. It's like you can't even take a bicycle to these planets and land and just, you know, go around on it. It's like you can't use vehicles. That's very odd. Like, well, they have jetpacks. Well, yeah, okay, that's fine, but it just seems really odd that in the future all vehicles just disappeared. I guess the jetpacks must just be that good. That it's just like, well, we just don't need any kind of ground vehicles whatsoever anymore because jetpacks are just so good that, you know, I don't know. Very odd to me, though, and a little bit world-breaking, I would say, if I was making a universe for sci-fi. I mean, maybe it's necessary for some kind of gameplay purpose, but to go out there and be like, well, this game is so realistic, you know, in its ways, it's like, well, just vehicles just don't exist anymore? That's very bizarre. I really find that very hard to buy, that concept. Unless, like I said, I guess your jetpacks would have to be so good, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything to indicate that. But, you know, that's a very strange thing I heard about. Like I said, I haven't been following Starfield in too much depth. I know, though, that it's been a very popular topic to a lot of people lately. So like I said, we might do a sci-fi related scene next, you know, like on some desert planet or something, which I hear those crop up a lot in Starfield. Big open desert rockscapes, so we might do something like that. And we might try to find some way to make it interesting, like not just empty desert with just rocks or something, you know. We'll try to find some kind of way to make it interesting. I have my own sci-fi universe I've developed over time, and I'm still developing, actually, with all the lore and stuff, and maybe I could make something from that, I don't know. Anyway, we can make some kind of sci-fi thing. I think the walls are good. They seem good. I've been around this thing a couple times. So, I'd say that's all solid. We have got our invisible walls up. We have got our bugs. I think the jungle's just about completed. from my perspective, I think I'm good with what we got. Here and there, things could be added or whatnot, but that's, from my perspective, I think it's good, solid. Now, on to the final part. And I think the final part will be, I want to take this puppet, and we're going to make a character, an actual character. Because we don't just want this blue, boring puppet in our jungle. Let's rewind time, though, just to get him in position. I'm going to grab him. We are going to move him outside here, so we don't get... So we have the freedom to work, and we can move him back in later. Yes, there we go. By the way, what's going on with that? Oh, I guess it just disappears when you pull the thing? Seems odd. Okay, we'll just put him down here on the floor, so it's a little floor setup. But anyway, another thing we're going to do, I'm going to put this studio lighting on, because we need to be able to... You know what? Okay, he can align to the grid. Good, we want him aligned to the grid. Okay, so he's aligned to the grid. So now, you know what we're going to do is we're going to start working on him. And the first thing, somebody suggested an Anteater. Which I like. Oh, wait. I forget, there's one more thing. I don't know where this guy's at. He's on the edge. Okay, one more thing. Somebody suggested... Actually, we'll just delete this guy for the moment. We can get a new one. Somebody suggested that when I finish this, valued viewer suggested this, that I go do a once through it in first person. Which, frankly, that sounds kind of like a neat idea. I hadn't thought of that, but that does sound like kind of a neat idea. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to cut real quick and get out of here, and I'll get a first-person, an MM first-person puppet, and we'll come back in, and we'll do a little walk around with the first person, see how that looks. Just because that's a great suggestion. I like the idea. And then we'll make our Anteater guy. Okay, so we'll be back. Okay, everybody, we're back, and I just quick grabbed out a first-person puppet. I think it's MM's one. I'm not sure if it's somebody else's or not, but I found the first-person puppet that I came to, first-person puppet, and I grabbed it out and put it in our scene and set things up. So here we are. We're walking around first person in our scene. Ah, it looks pretty good. Even considering, in first person, what happens is you can see a little more of the detail, easier, because, you can get up close to, say, the tree and be like, oh, I can tell that's just, that's funky, that's not high def or whatever. But, it doesn't look half bad. I can wrap my head around it. Looks decent. Decent. Very good. Pretty exquisite for dreams, I think. Yeah, I like the look of this in first person. Cool thing about not being Bethesda or some other big studio is you really got pressure, because I gotta say, it's like in Dreams, there's a certain amount of, there's just an understanding. We can't do certain things. So it's like if things don't look, oh, look, it doesn't look super amazing. It's like, people are like, well, oh, it's understandable. It's Dreams, And this is not the case if you're a big AAA game. It's like, what's your excuse for the horrible graphics, I'm not saying anything specifically about Starfield or whatever. I'm saying this is just a general thing that you can have happen to you if you're a big studio. They're going to put a lot of scrutiny on that. It's like, you don't got an excuse. You're supposed to be cutting edge, you're a big old AAA studio with all that money. Oh, man. Man, guys, the space game I would make... I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't like it for various reasons, but I think most people would like it. Oh, the space game I would make if I was like a... What do you call it? I wouldn't even want to make it necessarily with my hands. What I need is I need to have a studio full of people just taking my command. And I need to be like the art director and stuff, direct the visuals, direct the lore. Everybody else can do the coding and stuff just based on my command. That would, Good grief, guys. We could have such a space game. I'm telling you. Make old Billy rich. And why we will have this space game. Why, if you were disappointed by Starfield, if you were somebody who was disappointed by Starfield, I tell you, my space game, it would thrill you. You would not be disappointed. That looks pretty good. This is pretty fun. I am glad that this was suggested. This is a good idea. I like this. And you can see the bugs. We gotta let's kind of slow it down just so we can kind of. Ooh, mysterious. Yeah, I like it. This could be on another planet, you know? This could, just because, I mean, it looks like Earth. It's definitely an Earth-like planet, but... You know something funny about sci-fi and space stuff? This seems to be well, this has always kind of been a thing. There's kind of reasons and constraints behind this too, but it's a funny thing is that whenever people envision alien planets for these games or these TV shows or whatever, a lot of times they have like an Earth-like planet, but it's like the whole planet is the same all over. If you look, it's kind of funny that they think it would be that way. Now, some planets I kind of like if you got a desert or a frigid planet, it's like, well, the reason it's snow all over or desert all over is because the planet's just at the wrong, you know, it's just right to be livable and have oxygen and stuff like that, atmosphere, but it's a little too hot and not enough water or something, you know, quite. So it's all a desert. That kind of makes sense to me. Or, you know, vice versa. It's all Arctic because it's a little too cold and it's just all over. It's cold all over. But it still has an atmosphere, you know, like Earth, and it can still have, like, you know, clouds and all that. But it's cold, you know, like, say, Hoth or Tatooine or something. That I get. But then there's these planets where they're like, well, the entire planet is just this one big jungle biome. And it's kind of like, well, not saying that couldn't happen. I mean, in space, I'm a big believer in conceiving that anything could happen. Anything, because it's unexplored. We don't know. But everybody goes by what they think. It's like, well, this can't happen because we don't see it ourselves. It's like, well, you don't know, man. It's like, have you been to every zone of the universe? Get back to me later. But, not that they couldn't have a planet where it's like, oh, it's all the same jungle biome. But consider, it is funny they do this all the time. When Earth, you know, we're the most Earth-like planet. It is Earth. And the amount of biomes on Earth, it's crazy. Like all the different kinds of biomes and the different kinds of species of plants and trees and the different climate differences you get from different locations. You can go, you know, if you're in the United States, you could go from one end to the other and you can go through like several different little biomes there. You can go through deserts, forests, different kinds of forests, deciduous forests, evergreens. You know what I'm saying? And so it's funny that these planets, it's like, well, this planet is just nothing but evergreens. All over the planet, it's nothing but evergreens. It's like, well, that's kind of a little weird. I mean, I'm not saying that couldn't happen. But I mean, don't you think there'd be a few planets maybe that were Earth-like, and they were like Earth in terms of, well, down there, that's the swampy regions, and over there, that's the tropics, and over there, that's the, you know, the more cold polar regions, and, you know, different types of species between them, like, over there's the yellow jungle, and then you move south into the blue plains or something, you know, I don't know, but it, you know, just with alien stuff, alien life and stuff, but different from region to region, all on the same planet. But they have like a whole planet set aside for each different thing they come up with in their mind. It's kind of a little bit funny to me and a little unrealistic, although like I'm saying, you know, I'm not saying that's impossible. We don't know about the universe's secrets, but it just strikes me as kind of funny. But they always take it so they're like, we're being really hardcore about realism in this, and yet they do stuff like that. It's like, that just doesn't strike me as a reasonable thought process. But you know what? Guys, I gotta make this sci-fi game someday. If I ever get rich and all that, and I do have access to a studio, you believe you're gonna see it. And these things will be, these many questions and problems of mine Maybe you share them. But they will be answered and we will put those in there. This stuff will be taken care of. Anyway, there we go. That's our little walk around. I hope you enjoyed while I ranted about the issues of why sci-fi is not good enough because it's not made by me. Anyway, that's pretty cool though. And I'm glad for the suggestion, sir. Suggester. That was a very good suggestion. Anyway, we're gonna cut and I'm gonna get set up to be sculpting our puppet like we were before. We'll be back. Okay, we're back and I've got a new blank puppet deluxe here. So we can start trying to sculpt our Anteater guy. So what I'm gonna do, first off, I imagine this Anteater guy being something of a squatty little guy. We're gonna use this stretch tool, which is in the tools. We're gonna get in here. I think I'm gonna put it on. It's been a while since I sculpted a puppet. Usually I'm doing scenes and stuff, but I've sculpted puppets. Now, I'm gonna grab his little, well, okay, that doesn't work. Excuse me. We're gonna grab his pelvis. No. Now, we're gonna grab his thigh. Okay, that doesn't work either. I forget. I'm trying to shorten him up here. Oh, what the? Whoa. This is gonna be a little relearning experience for Billy. Like I said, I haven't done a puppet in a little while. Oh, wait a minute. Is it because of this? Now I know we can... Oh, wait a minute. Wait, that's not right. Grid space. Okay, something's very strange. Okay, wait, there was stretching it. I don't want him to go off center like that, though. Okay, that's shortening it. That's what I wanted. Shorten him down a little bit there. I don't know, though, about that wobbly. Can we do it with this? Oh, you can do it with this. Maybe I better do it with that. I'm not sure why it's not working with the precise move, though. Maybe it's because grid space. What if we turn on local space? Nope. I don't honestly know what these settings do. I'm trying to figure this out here. Well, let's just do this with this. I think I can handle it. I want him to be a little short, stubby guy. Short, stubby legs, like so. That's just how I'm seeing an Anteater. Although, he's going to be anthropomorphic. In the classical sense. Not like the... I don't know, the deviant art sense. Let's go with, Nope. Can you even... No, you can't. Anyway, he is short and stubby. That's about what I would do. Got longer arms. Do I want to shorten his arms up? I might. Why is this not on? This should be on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit... Oh, that's weird. Okay, anyway. No, don't want to do that. So I don't know about the shortening of the arms. Seemed to me... I don't know. I'm not sure how to shorten his arms down. I'm gonna have to take a second to think about this. I'm gonna cut for a little second while I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Just because I'm gonna have to do a little maybe research or something. Okay, everyone, I'm back on after that. It didn't take me too long. Now, I don't know what happened, but I guess the stretch tool, I shut it off or something. Because you just take the stretch tool and we can... It's a little weird, but yeah, I just wanted to shorten down his arms there a little bit. I can stretch out his shoulders maybe a bit. Nah, I don't know. I think I might make this guy a little pear-shaped, because, I don't know, that's what I imagine an Anteater like. If he was to walk and all that. It might give him a little bit of a tilt there to him. Sort of a forward tilt. Sort of a hunched, kind of a... That's how... We'll see. As we get into it, we'll understand everything. I know there's a little thing... Well, we'll deal with that later. There's kind of a thing that happens... Hopefully I can deal with that after modeling him. Sometimes when you make a real short puppet, there's like a thing that happens when you want to, you know, you go start walking with them and weird stuff starts happening with their movement patterns. It's because of certain settings and things, but if you do the something happens where you'll make a short puppet and then you move around with them and then they'll start roller skating or something. It's really weird. There's a fix for it though, but we'll get into that later. I think we can get into that after we've modeled him. Anyway, I'll get in here. I'll spread those feet out a little bit, because I think they need to be. Okay, so now we'll actually start getting into kind of the modeling process. What I'm going to do first is go with the head, the neck, probably start with the upper body part, and go kind of down to the bottom. Okay, so let's see. I don't want... Yeah, okay, so what we're gonna have to do is get ourselves... Put the mirror on for sure, because we'll want that on there. Now, I don't know how much I'm gonna go with color on the head right off. Well, we'll start with some color. Why not? Now, anteaters are kind of... In my experience, they're kind of a grayish brown. So, a desaturated kind of brown, a light in the head. We're not going to go for super realism or anything. I'm just, you know... We're going to kind of get inspired by real life, and they are kind of a grayish brown. We'll give them a little head. Anteaters have a pretty little head, from my experience. Okay, so... Get that on there. In such a way. We can get rid of this blue thing, because that's going to be a distraction. So there is our anteater. Basis for our anteater's head. We might put a little more size onto it. Blend this just a bit. Okay. Maybe not, though. Yeah, anteaters have such a thin head. I think it's in the spirit of an anteater to have that thin head. We gotta get this nose going on, though. That's the anteater's pride and joy. Is the nose. The long, eccentric nose that basically is about, like, almost their whole head is a nose, really. If you look at an anteater. If you've ever seen an ant... No, we won't do that for this. Ooh, that's a little much. Okay. Here's the problem with... Well, this will work. Pretty long. Anteaters, of course. Long nose. Almost the whole head, like I was saying, is a nose. Scale it down, because it does taper. And, of course, give it a little nice bend there, because the anteaters have kind of a nice curvature to that nose. There we go. Perfect basis. So now what? Well, now we're going to be sort of... We're going to put some eyes on him. Of course. We will... I think we'll put them... I kind of feel like I want to give him a hat later. So, I'm not going to put his eyes... I was pondering put his eyes straight up on top his nose, but what we'll do is we'll kind of put them off to the side. He's going to kind of probably have kind of a Sid the Sloth look. Kind of have them off to the side. I mean, they're on the side in real life, but most animals are like that. But sometimes you take the eyes and you put them right up there like that. Kind of humanizes them more. Because, you know, humans, we have the eyes right up front like that. You know, animals often they have the eyes on the side of their head. But we'll do that just for... So this would be where the eyes are. Actually, I may go with an idea of separation here. But we'll put some dots so we just know what we're dealing with on where we want those eyes. Like that. I'm gonna go switch over and we're gonna work on the neck a little bit here too. Because it's a good idea. We don't want to get too specific with the head until we know what our neck and everything looks like. And here for the anteater, we want the neck connection to be quite... Make sure that's as close to perfect circle right there where it connects. That way you get a more seamless... Because as dreams, we have... The puppets have these seams, or these creases or whatever, where the joints meet. And often what you do when you're trying to make an organic character, and this is one of the downsides of dreams, is you're trying to get rid of that as best you can. Because, you know, organic things do not usually have a crease and a seam in them. So it's a little bit of a nuisance there with that. That everything has to look like an actual marionette with, like, these... But there's ways you can kind of... One way around that, you can join them up real nice there. Make sure, though, that you have the... Like a sphere right on top of another sphere. Like a sphere on the head meets the sphere for the neck. That way you get the constant... More smoothness there. Oh, another thing I want to do before I keep going. Set this to this before I go on, because I don't want flex showing with this guy. That might... Maybe some people might desire that, because you could make an argument for having it when they're like, oh, he's a furry animal. Maybe that's his fur. Yeah, that's a good argument. In this case, though, I just don't want to do it that way. I want this way. Let's get this. Let's go ahead and get this. Ooh, it's already the color I wanted. Let's spray paint that. Yeah, so there we go. Now we just got to get some body here. Like I said, I'm going to go for more of a pear shape, probably, like... Sort of a pear-shaped, We might have to go back in and... I feel like I want his shoulders... Yeah, meeting the neck kind of more. Like that. Oh, yeah! Okay, wait a minute. Might want to make more of that. More neck flab. Okay, there we go. Now let's see about doing this upper torso part. I gotta give him the boobs. This is not a girl anteater. I guess it could be. I don't know. Anteaters don't actually have the you know, but you know, it's not, you know. Okay, so let's see here. I imagine this is a guy anteater. We're just gonna go with that. Now, this can be tricky. Torso can be tricky. More so though if you're trying to do like a person, because getting all this to go together in a way that's nice. And don't make his midsection too large there. It's not the midsection that we are. I'm gonna have to do a little testing. See how it works. Really though, the pelvis is where you make sure. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have a nice fat. Nice large fatness there. Round. Yeah, we're gonna have to mess with his arms. As you can see, his arms have kind of gone into the depths there. I'll turn that off a bit. All right. Turn that on a little bit now. Anyway, we're gonna mess with it for sure. Give him kind of a belly. Nice round bulbous sort of look. I don't know that Anteater's all that fat, but you know. This just seems like something Anteater would do. Get fat on ants. Okay, so here we go. Let us move those arms out for a second. Yes, okay, that just so that we can see them anyway. We might need to adjust that stuff a little more later. Anyway, though, there you go. you got his general shape going on. I almost feel like I want his... Like, I don't want them coming out right... I want them, like, really over here, sort of. Then again, you could make them really fat and go down. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at it. No, come on. Don't do that. Alright. Yeah, like that. See, for some reason that... Yeah, I think that works. Seems like he should have his... Like, they should be a little wider like that. Yeah, I'm liking that. We'll go with that for now. Anyway, we gotta fix the arms and legs, but, we got his general shape here. To see kind of where we're going with this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring him back in the forest so we can test his movements. Test his movements, because like I said, when you get them short... And also, you want to watch and you want to look at what the joints are doing. So you can model your puppet appropriately. Get an idea how they're bending and stuff in these different situations. We're gonna, like I said, we're probably gonna encounter... By the way, let's turn this... Cause I know this was a new puppet, so we gotta get the speed down. Appropriate to the scene. Anyway, though. There he is. Now we're gonna probably encounter some kind of glitchery due to his short size. But that's why we're doing these tests. Okay, so here we go. Here's our guy. Okay, so as you see, he's sort of... When we walk, it's fine. You see how he's walking fine. Walking very well. But when we run, this is what I'm talking about. He kind of gets up on an invisible bicycle and he's going fast. This is a thing that happens to you when you're doing the short puppets. Anyway, though, what you want to do with that, whole, this thing where he's invisible bicycling, this thing that happens with the short puppets. Basically, what you wish to do with this is we're going to stop time, or get out of him. Okay. Pause. We gotta go into his parameters. We gotta go into the logic. We gotta go into the animation. I don't like logic, you know. We gotta go enter into his running pose parameters. And that's what the... What do you say? What the... L1X, I believe? Yeah. And when you're in this thing and you got the animation, you go to his pelvis and triangle to deanimate it. And that should fix the problem. We will see. I have had this problem before. When making a short, little stubby puppet like this. So let's see here. Yep, okay. Seems to be fixed. Of course, his feet are weirdly going together, but we can actually fix that as well. Also, his arms are going together too. That is partially because you have to animate those poses. They're still going with the old puppet's body. So his rest pose is correct, but his other poses are not. So what we're going to do here... Wait, I don't know. It's getting into that painting. Puppet logic. Open the logic. We'll go back to those poses. And what we're going to do is we're going to go with the running parameters again. And see what we're going to do. We're just going to make sure we... Okay, I can't because the painting's in the way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to spread just back to where we want them. This is during the running. And you see his arms are in there. We'll just put them out like that. See that? We'll just hit record. That might not be the ultimate thing, but, you know, we got him out of his body anyway, which is what we wanted. So now we'll hit record. That should fix that. Let's go do a little run around. Okay. Oh, wait, we still got this stuff open. Didn't want to do that. Sorry. We'll close that stuff out so we can see. Anyway, though, let's do a little run around. Yeah, see? So we're still gonna have to do a little work on his running arms animation, but we've kind of fixed the legs there. And we have fixed the arms not being all inside his fat like they were. So we're looking better already. This is what you gotta do when you're making a puppet. At least I would recommend it. Yeah, I guess you don't gotta do it, but I would recommend it. When you're making a puppet, you gotta think about, you know, how they're moving and stuff. Especially if it's like for a game character, you gotta be like, well, how do they look when they jump? How do they look when they run? Is it looking like I want? Because you'll get stuff like that. It'll look fine, all still and standing stock still. But then when you start moving, something weird will happen. You'll be like, oh no, how did I miss that? Like, go through a lot of testing and taking a look at them and everything. Get an idea. But we got the basis here for our Anteater. All solid and ready to go. And I think with that, we're just about to the end of the session. Next session, we'll probably get back and really go into making the details on the Anteater, you know, finishing the guy up. I honestly don't know how many sessions it'll take to complete the full character. I'm not going to try to go overboard on detail and stuff, but, you know, I do like to make a nice character, you know? Even if he is stylized or whatever. But we've got the basis for him for next time. So, we'll definitely be back on that. Right now, we're going to give a little credit where credit is due to those who are over on the Coffee with the Bronze membership, giving us monthly support. That's a big yay for you. And the names will now come up on screen. The name. And that'll be that. And if you want to have your name come up on screen like that, you will get a Bronze membership. Now, I've heard, I want to go into this a little bit here. Marty has said that there's, over on the Coffee, there's kind of a thing where some people aren't, for some reason, they're not able. There's been talk of people wanting to get the membership, but some people aren't able to do it correctly. And I believe there's some people who are supporting us monthly just by standard payments, which maybe we can figure out some system to get your name in the credits if you're doing it that way. I would recommend, though, you know, get the Bronze membership so we can easily tell what's going on, if you can. But, you know, if you're having some kind of problem, we do want to credit people who are trying to support us monthly, you know, and if the technology is giving you a hard time, we don't want that to be taking you out of the credit you're due. But anyway, head over there and get the Bronze membership if you want to be in the credits. And you can support us on Coffee with a one-time payment as well if you don't want to be monthly. You know, whatever you want to do with that. There's also a link to a print-on-demand art site. We got some art over there and stuff. You can get pretty good stuff. But aside from that, if you're new, like, subscribe. We can use new subscribers and likes. Aside from all that money stuff, you don't have to pay money. You can just subscribe and like. That's a very helpful thing. We like that. We always can use new subscribers and especially new likes on these videos. Check out the other videos. You know, and have a great time with whatever you're doing on Starfield or whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but have a great time on Dreams. And this has been Billy Cultist. Until next time, bye-bye.